Good evening to one and all. This is Victor Yankee 1 stroke Whiskey Lima 1 Bravo. Handle is Brandin, and we are making our last major transmission from Dawson City, Yukon to conclude my Arctic trip. For the past 9 weeks, I have been traveling to places that many people dream of visiting someday. Many of these locations have never been visited by foreign nationals, let alone people that live in the same country. The written nor spoken word can truly express some of the things I have seen, the people I have met, and countless hours of fun during my time traveling. As many of you know, I was traveling for work. I am a telecommunications engineering specialist, which is my exact job title. I have spent these past 9 weeks traveling to some of the most remote locations in Canada and Greenland with a crew doing critical upgrades to their local communications infrastructure to include modernizing telephone systems, internet upgrades, and even cable television in some places. While the weather was not on my side the entire trip, it has been an amazing feat to see thousands of people be brought into the 21st century with connectivity. No one can ever take that joy away from me. During this trip, I have been given limited opportunities to be on the amateur bands, to also include Hamsphere 4. Many of you know about the 2 major events that I have held in Eureka, Nunavut and Daneborg, Greenland, both being a huge success. Those 2 events have given hundreds of people an opportunity of a lifetime to make contact with an operator who was in a place that may never be on Hamsphere 4 again. My operation here in the Great White North has given many people the needed help for certain awards. Again, a majority of these places may never see a Hamsphere 4 activation, so it is my hope that they will be cherished contacts indeed. Amid the triumphs of this trip, I have also had trials. Most of them were above and beyond what I should have done. For those who are not aware, I spent 80% of my operation using satellite internet. My average setup time for internet in many of these places has exceeded 2 hours, and in many cases, temperatures as cold as -61 degrees Celsius were reported during times of setup. High winds were included. My operations in these conditions have reached many times where wind chill was recorded at -85 degrees Celsius and even colder in some locations. Yes, I was operating on Hamsphere 4 in a non-heated enclosure just so you all could have the privilege to contact the North. I also operated on Real HF during my 9 weeks traveling up here. Over 1,700 contacts have been logged and nearly 60 countries have been worked. Let's not forget that as well. I want to take a few moments and make mention of the cost involved in making this all happen for each and every one of you. Beginning with the monetary aspect of this, I am going to throw some numbers at you that are within a few $100s relating to my bills up until this particular time. The internet bill for this trip after I go QRT this evening will be a total of $6,083. Divide that up over 63 days and it comes to almost $100 per day just to have satellite internet. While this was a work-related trip, my travel costs for this trip as of this transmission have come to $91,000. That included my trips to Eureka and to Greenland. At the beginning of this trip, I had to replace my satellite modem due to motherboard failure. My replacement modem cost $2,380 to replace and ship air freight to Arctic Bay, Nunavut from Los Angeles, California. My food expenditures over the past 9 weeks have totaled to $3,975, which is low considering what I normally consume. As I mentioned before, things are very expensive in the North, plain and simple. Now that I have mentioned the financial impacts, I would like to take a few minutes and talk about the physical and mental impacts this trip has played on me. While working as much as 16 hours per day, most of that has been outside in very severe weather conditions. If you think this place has coconuts and palm trees with white sandy beaches, I am afraid to give you some terribly bad news. That is far from the truth. With the exception of Eureka, Nunavut, and Daneborg, Greenland, all of my amateur radio operation has taken place outdoors. I have severely damaged the circulation of my hands and feet. I have been frost-nipped several times during my operations. The damage I have to my hands and my feet may take years to fully heal up, if it ever happens at all. Remember, I did all of this for your pleasure. The mental anguish experienced on this trip has been of a more memorable one, too. Many nights I have stayed up late being on the air to help those of you get the contacts with me as I have traveled. Many nights I went to work the very next morning on as little as 3 hours of sleep. While I am thankful that my work has been a tremendous success, my body has been broken down to it. I will be spending the next several days catching up on lost sleep and resting for sure. The 2 large operations had taken their toll on me as well, and I haven't fully recovered from it yet, but I will in due time. Over the past 9 weeks, Hamsphere 4 users have been given a profound opportunity to see how I operate on the amateur bands. While many have been irritated with my style of operating, hundreds have come to truly appreciate the exorbitant professionalism I offer on an unconditional basis. Many now see that spotting a station with limited internet resources will cause others who were waiting patiently to lose their chance of getting in contact with me. Many operators have learned how I react to others who show little compassion and courtesy to a DX station's wishes. Furthermore, operators on Hamsphere 4 have now learned how to operate split, and in case people are still wondering, there is no module for that in the Hamsphere 4 shop. I would like to make some closing remarks to put my trip to the Arctic in the history books. There are some important people that truly deserve my thanks and appreciation for helping make my Hamsphere 4 operations a huge success. First and foremost, I would like to thank Kelly, 5B4 AIT, and SM7 NHC for allowing this application to be here for the multitudes who have been given an opportunity to contact me. I would also like to thank Pat, 14HS1. Pat has been there to make sure everything went smooth as I have traveled to each destination and for seeing the numerous messages go back and forth. I apologize if it has been overwhelming, but I want to tell you how much I appreciate your efforts during this operation. I would also like to thank you for being here to act as net controller during my 2 major operations in the Deep North. Your outstanding net controller skills have been a beacon of light to those in Europe, and again, I thank you. My next person to give thanks is Pavel, UR5FAI. He has been a great force of help in Eastern Europe, and for your efforts during my 2 events, I thank you for being there for me. I would like to give a thanks to Dan, NA1NA, Ron, N1CNG, and Wayne, 9HS4755. You all have played an amazing role in helping this be a real success. You all have been an integral part in helping those additional stations get a shot at making some very rare contact with me during my travels, and you will never be forgotten for it. I wish to conclude my statement with these final remarks. The deep friendships with my net controllers and those of you who have been patient to work with me over these past 9 weeks has developed a heartfelt bond that will last a lifetime. The continued courtesy, professionalism, devotion, and support you have given me has been my driving force to making this a tremendous success. I have spent many nights laying in bed with tears rolling down my cheeks due to the amount of pain I have been in from being in the cold operating. I know there are some here on Hamsphere that will not truly appreciate the incredible sacrifice I have made to ensure your pleasure, but I do know that the number of people who see where I am coming from and agree outnumber those who will never appreciate it. Remember, I am an amateur radio operator. I did not do any of this because I had to. I operated for each and every one of you because I wanted to. I live by a strict code of conduct as an amateur radio operator that enshrines honesty, integrity, professionalism, selfless service, and the ability to educate those who seek my help. May this trip I have been on be an educational tool to those who plan future de-expeditions on Hemisphere 4 or even Real HF Radio. I want to thank each and every one of you who have given me the opportunity to make contact during my trip. I want to thank all of you who have followed my footsteps from day one and for your incredible support. Without you, this trip would have felt much longer. I will be in Maine soon, but have decided to take a few days at my home in Alaska to get away and relax before my next chapter in life begins. I look forward to talking with you when I am back in Maine and hope to have many more contacts with you in the future. May God bless each and every one of you. May God bless the amateur radio service, and you are all in my prayers. Take care, one and all, and 7-3 from Dawson City, Yukon. This is Victor Yankee 1 / Whiskey Lima 1 Bravo, and we are clear.